Hey there, thanks for chiming into my channel. This is Jacob, and we're going through the book of Job and studying it and learning some things about Job and his life and his response. And Job has three so-called friends, and they seem to be attacking him in all their words and so-called cunning wisdom, and they're miserable comforters. Job calls them miserable comforters. And that's something that Job desires. He desires answers and comfort, and he's not getting them yet. But God is on the way later in this book. But right now we're in chapter 22, and Job just spoke in chapter 21, and Eliphaz pipes up again here in chapter 22. Then Eliphaz the Temanite replied, "Can a man be of benefit to God? Can even a wise man benefit him? What pleasure it would give the Almighty if you were righteous? What would he gain if your ways were blameless? It is for your piety that he rebukes you and brings charges against you." These guys don't know why Job's going through this incredible suffering, and neither does Job. But these guys are claiming to know why. In verse 5 it says, "Is not your wickedness great? Are not your sins endless?" No, they weren't, and they aren't in Job's case. Verse 6, "You demanded security from your brothers for no reason. You stripped men of their clothing, leaving them naked. You gave no water to the weary, and you withheld food from the hungry. Though you were a powerful man, owning land, and an honored man, living on it. And you sent widows away empty-handed, and broke the strength of the fatherless. That is why snares are all around you, why sudden peril terrifies you, why it is so dark you cannot see, and why a flood of water covers you. Is not God in the heights of the heavens? And see how lofty are the highest stars? Yet you say, what does God know? Does he judge through such darkness? Thick clouds veil him, so he does not see us as he goes about in the vaulted heavens. Will you keep to the old path that evil men have trod? They were carried off before their time, their foundations washed away by a flood. They said to God, leave us alone. What can the Almighty do to us? Yet it was he who filled their houses with good things. So I stand aloof from the counsel of the wicked. The righteous see their ruin and rejoice. The innocent mock them. Surely our foes are destroyed, and fire devours their wealth. Submit to God, verse 21, submit to God and be at peace with him. In this way prosperity will come to you. Accept instruction from his mouth and lay up his words in your heart. If you return to the Almighty, you will be restored, if you remove wickedness far from your tent, and assign your nuggets to the dust, your gold of Ophir to the rocks in the ravines. Then the Almighty will be your gold, the choicest silver for you. There, Eliphaz is saying, put away the gods that you have, because clearly you're doing something wrong, or you're acting wickedly or unrighteous. Put away those gods of gold and silver that you have, put them in their right place, and then God will be with you and heal you in these things. Well, that's not the case with Job. He was living a righteous life. Verse 26, surely then you will find delight in the Almighty, and will lift up your face to God. You will pray to him, and he will hear you, and you will fulfill your vows. Verse 28, what you decide on will be done, and light will shine on your ways. When men are brought low, and you say, lift them up, he will save the downcast. He will deliver even one who is not innocent. Who will be delivered through the cleanness of your hands? So we get another incorrect rebuke from Eliphaz, and certain people just pop up in my life, and I'm sure you have them as well, where their knowledge and their so-called wisdom and truth are just skewed and erred and not pertinent to the actual situation and the things that Job is saying. And I look at it this way. I kind of look at it as if you were to walk out onto a hill or out in the wilderness or out in the forest, and you looked at creation, you would just see the grass and the trees and the things on creation and maybe an animal or two, but you wouldn't see what's going on behind the scenes. You wouldn't see what goes in to the grass being grown, what goes in the what's going on in the atmosphere to make the perfect atmosphere for everything to grow, or what went into the wisdom of those animals being created. You don't see those things. You just see the physical things. And that's what I like in these three friends of Job being like. They're just seeing the physical manifestation of what took place between God and Satan playing out in Job's life. They're just seeing the troubles that Job's going through, and they're saying, oh, well, this is a result of this. And their perceptions are wrong. Their calculations are skewed, and they're coming to false conclusions. And because of that, they're speaking arrogantly. They're speaking out of something that is false. And Job is crying out for answers. So that's more insight into the book of Job as we kind of work through this.